There is a $2 liquid sitting in your bathroom cabinet right now that can bring foggy headlights back to factory clarity. Not reduce the fogging slightly. Restore them completely. The American Automobile Association ran this through an accredited laboratory and confirmed it works. Dealerships are charging $300 to $800 per headlight assembly to replace something this liquid fixes in 12 minutes. The automotive aftermarket industry pulls in over $400 billion every single year in the United States alone. A $2 fix that wipes out a $400 repair bill cannot be allowed to go mainstream. So they buried it behind upsells, scare tactics, and parts catalogs thicker than a Bible. They did not hide it because it fails. They hid it because it works too well. This is the story of the chemical reaction that brings dead headlights back to life, and the industry that is praying you never find out about it. Welcome to True Wild Camping. If this kind of knowledge matters to you, subscribe and hit the bell. This is where we break open the vaults that billion-dollar industries have welded shut. Now let me take you back to where this problem was deliberately engineered. In 1981, Ford Motor Company filed a petition with the United States federal government to overturn a law that had stood for decades. They wanted permission to stop using glass headlights. For over 40 years, every car sold in America ran sealed beam glass lamps. They were round, square, standardized, and cost about $5 to replace at any hardware store. Glass did not fog. Glass did not yellow. Glass did not oxidize. A headlight from 1965 looked exactly the same in 1985. But glass had a problem for the automakers. It was too simple. You could not patent a new shape every model year. You could not charge $200 for a proprietary assembly. You could not drag a customer back to the dealership for a replacement that only fit one specific vehicle. In 1983, Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standard 108 was amended. Automakers were now cleared to use polycarbonate plastic in place of glass. Polycarbonate is 250 times more impact resistant than glass. It weighs half as much and can be molded into whatever aerodynamic shape a designer imagines. The industry celebrated, but polycarbonate has a fatal weakness they never mentioned on the showroom floor. It is chemically vulnerable to ultraviolet radiation from the sun. UV photons hit the plastic surface and trigger a process called photooxidation. On a molecular level, ultraviolet rays break apart the polymer chains holding the plastic together. Micro cracks form across the surface like invisible fractures in a windshield. Moisture seeps into those cracks and gets trapped. Road salt, chemical residue, and airborne particles embed themselves into the damaged layer. The result is that yellow, cloudy, foggy lens you see on every car older than 5 years. The factory applies a thin UV protective coating to buy time, a sacrificial layer designed to absorb the damage so the plastic underneath survives. That coating lasts 3 to 5 years before the sun destroys it completely. After that, the polycarbonate is naked and defenseless. Your headlight is literally decaying in your driveway while you sleep. And here is the data that should make your blood run cold. The American Automobile Association published a landmark study in 2018. They tested headlights from 2 popular sedans, both approximately 11 years old. Those deteriorated headlights produced only 22% of the light output compared to new ones. That is not a 20% reduction. That is a 78% reduction in the light that is keeping you alive on dark roads. 50% of all traffic fatalities in the United States happen at night. And you are out there driving with headlights pushing barely a fifth of their designed output. A child on a bicycle at the edge of the road at dusk becomes completely invisible to a driver with degraded headlights. A deer frozen in the middle of your lane at night becomes a shadow you notice exactly 1 second too late. The AAA study confirmed that a $20 restoration kit brings light output back to approximately 70% of original performance. Not perfect, but nearly 4 times brighter than the degraded state. Meanwhile, replacing the headlight assembly runs $300 to $800 per unit. On a luxury vehicle like a BMW or Audi, you are looking at over $2,000 for a pair. Now here is what the industry does not want you to calculate. There are 556 million polycarbonate headlights in service across American roads today. The average vehicle age in the United States just hit a record 12.6 years. Every single one of those aging headlights is a potential $400 repair ticket. Multiply that across 100 million vehicles with deteriorated lenses, and you begin to understand the scale. This is not a headlight problem. This is a revenue model. Before we go deeper, I want to tell you what I have built for you here at True Wild Camping. This video is just the first vault. I have pulled together everything the automotive and outdoor industries have buried and compiled it all in one place. The complete True Wild Camping Vault. Inside you will find a step-by-step headlight restoration guide that dealers do not want anywhere near your hands. Fire building techniques that military special forces developed, now labeled too dangerous for civilians. Emergency shelter blueprints that cost nothing and outperformed $300 tents in field tests. DIY water purification systems that engineers tested and could not believe actually worked. Natural rust elimination using a single acid the chemical industry tried to erase from public knowledge. Off-grid power generation from components available at any hardware store for under $20. Over 10 survival guides in one vault. No filler, no fluff, straight to the point. The link is in the description. But stay right here, because the real conspiracy behind your foggy headlights goes deeper than UV damage. The automotive aftermarket industry in the United States reached $414 billion in 2024 alone. That number is projected to surpass $664 billion by 2028. This is not a side business. This is one of the largest commercial ecosystems on the planet. And every single dollar of that empire is built on one principle. The customer must not be able to fix it themselves. When your headlights fog up, the system is designed to funnel you through a very specific pipeline. The dealership tells you the assembly needs full replacement. They quote you $400, maybe $600 installed. If you push back, they offer a professional restoration at $75 to $150 per pair. Even the budget option costs 40 times more than doing it yourself with products you already own. The auto parts stores sell restoration kits for $20 to $30. These work, but they still cost 10 times what the actual active ingredients cost. Nobody in the entire automotive supply chain wants you to know that the chemistry behind every single one of those products is already sitting in your bathroom cabinet for approximately $2. You cannot patent baking soda. You cannot patent toothpaste. You cannot patent a polishing compound that has existed since the 1950s. And you absolutely cannot build a recurring revenue stream around a product the customer already owns. The entire $400 billion aftermarket machine runs on one psychological lever. The customer must believe that car maintenance is too complicated to handle alone. That specialized tools, proprietary chemicals, and certified technicians are the only path to a functioning vehicle. When a 60-year-old grandmother can restore her headlights with a tube of toothpaste and a microfiber cloth in her own driveway, the entire illusion collapses. So the industry responded with the oldest trick in the book. They made the simple knowledge invisible. Here is what the science actually says. The yellowing on your headlights is not permanent damage to the plastic itself. It is a thin layer of oxidized material sitting on the surface, typically less than a 32nd of an inch deep. Beneath that degraded layer, the polycarbonate is still perfectly clear and structurally sound. All you need to do is remove that oxidized skin and protect the fresh surface underneath from further UV exposure. That is the entire science of headlight restoration in 2 sentences. Everything else is marketing. Here is exactly how to do it yourself for under $5. Go to your bathroom cabinet and grab a tube of white toothpaste. Not gel, the basic white paste with mild abrasives. If you have baking soda, grab that too. Mix a small amount of toothpaste with a teaspoon of baking soda to create a slightly gritty paste. This works because toothpaste contains microabrasives and small amounts of hydrogen peroxide, the same active agents found in every commercial restoration kit on the shelf. The baking soda adds gentle scouring power that lifts the oxidized layer without scratching the polycarbonate underneath. Tape off the area around your headlight with painter's tape to protect your paint. Apply the paste directly to the foggy lens and scrub in firm circular motions using a clean cloth or an old toothbrush. Spend about 3 to 5 minutes per headlight, applying moderate pressure and keeping the surface slightly damp. You will see the cloth turning yellow as the oxidized layer transfers off the plastic. Rinse with clean water and inspect for mild to moderate fogging. One application delivers a dramatic improvement you can see from across a parking lot with your naked eye. For severely yellowed headlights neglected for years, repeat 2 or 3 times. Now here is the critical step that separates a weekend fix from a permanent restoration. The toothpaste removes the damaged layer, but it also strips away whatever UV protection was left on the surface. You have just exposed fresh, naked polycarbonate to the sun. Without protection, the oxidation returns within months. You need to apply a UV protective sealant or a spray clear coat designed for automotive plastic. A can of UV-resistant clear coat spray costs $4 to $6 at any hardware store and will protect multiple headlights for years. Apply 2 to 3 thin, even coats, allowing each coat to dry for about 10 minutes before the next one. That sealing step is the difference between a fix that lasts 3 months and one that lasts 3 years. For a more thorough and permanent result, upgrade to wet sanding. Buy a pack of automotive sandpaper in 400, 800, and 2000 grit for about $3. Wet sand the headlight starting with the 400 grit and working progressively up to the 2000 grit, keeping the surface thoroughly wet at all times with a spray bottle. Each grit level takes about 2 minutes of gentle, even strokes across the entire lens. The lens will look milky and frosted after sanding. That is completely normal. Then polish with your toothpaste and baking soda compound or a cheap automotive polishing compound until the lens turns crystal clear. Finish with 3 coats of UV clear coat sealant. Total cost for both headlights using this professional grade method, under $10. Total time invested, about 45 minutes. The result is headlights that look factory new and stay clear for 2 to 3 years. I want to be straight with you about the limits of this. If your headlights have deep physical cracks, internal moisture damage, or the polycarbonate itself is structurally compromised, no surface treatment will fix that. Those cases genuinely require professional assessment or replacement. But for the 90% of cars on the road dealing with standard UV oxidation fogging, the $2 bathroom method works. The AAA confirmed it. The chemistry proves it. And every auto detailer charging $75 for the same 15-minute process already knows it. Now step back and think about what you just learned. A 40-year-old government regulation change gave the auto industry permission to replace indestructible glass headlights with plastic ones that decay in 3 to 5 years under normal sunlight. That single regulatory decision created a perpetual revenue stream worth billions of dollars every single year. 556 million of those decaying headlights sit on American roads right now, each one a potential extraction point. And the solution that has existed for decades costs less than a cup of gas station coffee. This knowledge was never lost. It was just locked in a vault that nobody told you existed. If this video cracked something open for you, subscribe and share it with everyone you know who drives a car with foggy headlights. Every share keeps this kind of knowledge alive. The next vault opens soon, and what is inside is even heavier than what you just heard. True wild camping. We crack open what they sealed shut.